I want to enjoy these years because I know that they're going to go so fast, but I'm not enjoying it right now. I'm so miserable.
What a freaking mess. How is it that these women can have full-blown meltdowns on camera after choosing to divorce their husbands and still call themselves life coaches? Is the bar really that low? Or is there something deeper going on here? We're watching a growing pattern. Women will walk out on their families, they'll post their breakdowns online, cry about the consequences they created, seek sympathy, and somehow still position themselves as mentors, healers, and guides. Today's woman says she's a life coach who teaches others how to process pain while filming sob videos from her car because her toddler misses her dad and her new boyfriend can't help. Let's take a closer look at what's really going on here.
Being a single mom for me, the hardest part is not the financial part. It's literally like the dysregulation that my child has the majority of the time. It got worse after her dad moved to California. And it's so hard because I have so many great tools as to how to like help a child regulate their nervous system, and like I've done a lot of that work on my own too. It's like no matter what I do, because she feels like so sad and abandoned, it's like never enough. And I know that like sometimes that's just a 3 and a 4 and a 5-year-old, like regardless, which I just feel like that's like not talked about enough as a mom. Like when your child's like always dysregulated and like feeling like a bad mom or just feeling so miserable. It's like really hard for me to admit that it's so hard. And I feel like even before I was a single mom, I had these days. But then it's like, too, sometimes you see on social media, like, I've seen so many comments from moms of like, I never needed a break from my kids or this or that. But it's so hard. And I have like a boyfriend, but I still consider myself a single mom because I'm usually with my daughter alone.
Her daughter is struggling because this woman blew up her daughter's home and now she can't reverse the consequences. She is reacting like any child would. Your goal as a parent is to facilitate a stable environment for them, not try to give them modern tools, modern coping tools to help them deal with their broken family. And here's the thing. I highly doubt he moved to California just randomly. Now, you don't know it yet, but she was a stay-at-home mom, okay? And her husband, I guess her ex-husband, was supporting his entire family. You can't and you don't do that if you're a deadbeat dad, like she's here trying to make him out to be. There is very likely more to this. And you know, some reasons a man might move states like this is to escape toxic behavior. If the mother is constantly undermining him, creating drama, bad-mouthing him to the child, or using the child as a pawn, alienating the father, many men will relocate to protect their own sanity. And some mothers out there, you know, they expect the father to still function as a backup parent whenever it's convenient for her, but without the father having any authority or say. So like if the woman wants him to babysit while she goes out and dates another man, goes out on girls' nights out, or, you know, whatever the next thing looks like where she's trying to find herself, many men are not going to be on board with that. And moving away is a way of enforcing boundaries. We know that some women will try and win the breakup by making a guy miserable or isolating him. This is a thing that happens. This is real. And so moving can be a way to cut off manipulation and regain peace. There are valid reasons to move away, just like there are valid reasons to get a divorce. But when a woman like this says, I don't know why he moved, I don't think it was valid, it's almost always because she refuses to see what role she played and driving him away. You know, there are fathers that abandon their children. I know that happens. But there are also fathers that escape situations where they're disrespected, dismissed, or discarded. And, you know, I could, of course, be wrong. And he just doesn't love his daughter anymore and doesn't care about her and said, peace out. And he's a deadbeat. But the thing is, this woman's behavior is too erratic and unstable. And his history of providing for the entire family tells me there is more to this. But either way, this once stable nuclear family has gone completely nuclear. And this little girl here, unfortunately, just became a statistic.
Because him and I work opposite schedules, and like I financially support myself. Like, yeah, he'll help with my daughter and he's really great. But like, even if then you get remarried, it's like nobody talks about the fact that like they don't listen to that parent because it's not their, you know, biological parent that they grew up with. And I've heard like having a blended family and being like a step parent is really hard. And it's like hard for everybody because even the real parent is like, they can't help, they can't intervene the same, you know? And it's so hard. I never like anticipated, like when I got a divorce, that I would do this on my own by myself. And I just feel like so run down. And I don't have any family that lives by me. And none of my friends have kids. And sometimes it's just really, really lonely. But I know that I can't be like the only mom that feels this way. And I'm sure like some moms who are even married feel like this. But it's really hard. And so, like, we went to a place today so I could get a break. But then it's like she screamed, wouldn't get in the car, screamed the whole way home. I came home, I'm like, do you want to play a game? Like, doing anything and everything I can. But, like, nothing's good enough, you know? And sometimes it's just, like, so triggering.
What a freaking mess. She had a stable home. She had a man who was providing. And this child had both parents under one roof. And this woman threw it all away. And now it is meltdown after meltdown while this little girl has to absorb the fallout. And you know, she even said that if you get remarried, nobody talks about the fact that the kid won't listen to that parent because it's not their biological parent. The truth is, actually, a lot of men talk about that. They just get shamed for not wanting to date a single mom, but these women have to go through it firsthand to see it's valid. I say again, what a freaking mess. This woman said her daughter's antics are triggering her. Her daughter is triggering her. What is going on? Sorry, mommy can't take you to place today because you're probably going to end up triggering her. I really, you know, I've seen so many of these videos. I've heard from so many of these different women. It's everywhere. And at some point, we just have to say, yeah, you know, but actions have consequences. You want to leave your family. You want to split these things up. I don't know why you thought it was going to be easy. At some point, we're like, you're an adult and this is what happens when you make this choice. Don't go online looking for sympathy, hoping people will feel sorry for you. It's pathetic.
And it's like the most frustrating part is like I'm just left like the other parent just was like, I'm gonna leave. And it didn't even feel like a valid reason to me. And I'm like, okay, like I can't control you. I'm gonna do my best. But like my best literally is failing, and it's so hard. You know, was hard being a single mom before, but she wasn't always unwell. Now I feel like 80% of the time she's unhappy, and it's because she misses him and she tells me. So I'm just over here, and I want to enjoy these years because I know that they're gonna go so fast, but I'm not enjoying it right now. I'm so miserable. It's like really kind of embarrassing, honestly, to like sob on this video. I was trying not to cry. But why is being a mom so hard? And why don't moms have like more support? And I felt like this even when I was married too. And I'm sure being a dad is hard too, but I just feel like a lot of times everything's just pushed onto the mom. And we drop the ball. Like, everybody's gonna drop the ball, and it would be nice if, like, you know, the other parent or the partner could like pick it up sometimes, you know?
See, but you took the ball and ran. She literally had everything that she's wishing for right now. And sometimes it seems like that's the issue. It's almost like the stability is actually uncomfortable for these women. And it's like they have to find problems. It's strange. Because like, this is better? This is better than what you had with your husband? Really? I'm sure they will eventually adjust because humans are very good at that. But like, objectively speaking, she just sabotaged herself. And again, this is the problem. It seems like everyone thinks the world is supposed to revolve around these women and their fucking feelings. Enough. It's not all about your fifis anymore. You're a grown woman. You have a daughter. What about her feelings? You failed at the thing you were supposed to do as a parent, which is create a stable environment for your offspring to grow up in. And now, you know, she's stuck here teaching her daughter coping mechanisms for her anxiety. Like, who's the real child here?
I will show you the level of selfishness of this modern woman by playing this clip where she makes the struggles of her own daughter about herself. Let's watch.
So I just dropped my daughter off at her dad's for the first time since I've technically moved out, and it was really emotional, not because I didn't want to leave her, I like love having the break, but because when we got there she was like, I don't want to be here, Mommy, I want to go to our new house with you. She just turned 3, and I know that she's so confused. The hardest part is not being on my own. My biggest fear is just that she'll feel abandoned by me or wonder like why I left her, why I moved out. And I have her more of the time, but like she spends a good amount of nights there during the week because I work at night, and it's just so emotional because I leave her not with her dad, with a babysitter. I feel like that's a harder transition for her because she's really close with her dad. And I've cried off all my makeup now, which is fine. I have to go into work in a few minutes, but this is the part that I didn't let myself think about when I was deciding whether or not I wanted to leave, because I just knew that it would be like too much, and it's as hard as I thought it would be to process.
This woman now has to drop off her daughter at the father's house, not because the father is there, but because that's where the babysitter is, and she has to go to work, and he's also at work, so that's who's watching the kid, a babysitter. And I'm going to take a wild guess here and say she's not the one paying for the babysitter. And she admits right at the end there, she says it. She says, this is the part that I didn't let myself think about when I was deciding whether or not I wanted to leave, because I knew it would be too much. Well, there it is. So she prioritized herself over her daughter, and she knew it. She did not want to deal with the emotional consequences of her decisions, so she initially ignored them. in order to get her to follow through with this. That's crazy. And then don't forget that at the beginning, she said it was emotional, not because she didn't want to leave her daughter, because she was okay with the break, but it was emotional because her daughter was sad and confused. This whole thing is insane. It's insane we're even able to get a glimpse into this. The fact that she's giving us all a play-by-play of her life is very strange. And so, she basically admits it, that she's just like prioritizing her feelings above everyone's. And, it's like somehow she thinks she's the one we should feel sorry for.
And I remember seeing like so many clips like this on social media of moms having to like leave their kids. And I remember just thinking like, they're so strong, that'd be like the hardest thing I could never imagine. And you never think you're going to be in that situation, and I am. And I love her. I obviously miss her. I also love having a break, because I feel like I didn't get much of one for 3 years, but I don't want her to feel abandoned by me, and I never want her to feel like I don't want to be with her. I don't love her. This is the hardest. This is the part I'm struggling with the most. I feel like everything else I have such a good handle on except this part.
So 3 years. She made it 3 years as a stay-at-home mom, apparently. And now she acts like going back to work, juggling babysitters, breaking down in her car, somehow is a better trade. Like if she really thinks all of this is easier and better than just raising her kid full-time in a stable home, then, she just never really actually valued what she had, and she just wanted out.
Now we are going to talk about why her ex-husband decided to leave the state, as you may read in this caption on your screens right now. She thinks that she can just drop her daughter off at her ex-husband's place whenever she wants, so that she can go have some fun. And I can see more and more this pattern in modern women recently. They have their families with a good man, then divorce him because they know he will take care of her kids while she goes have some fun because he is a good man. That is probably why her husband decided to move out of the state. I am pretty sure that she won the majority of the custody, but we can clearly see that all she is about is having fun with no responsibilities. Now, all this woman does is posting videos of herself crying, playing the victim, and blaming everybody else but herself. We will just sign out with this clip where she explains her life situation so that you guys can understand when I talk about children in adult bodies.
A few mornings ago, I woke up without my daughter because I was about to work a double, and so she was staying at her dad's. And I woke up with so much emotion, a flood of emotions that I knew was going to eventually hit. I've been separated from my husband for about 3 months, but me and my daughter only moved out of our house and into an apartment 7 days ago. I'm naturally someone who doesn't cry easily. I like to put on a brave face and shove how I'm doing, even though I've been in counseling for years and I've been a life coach for the past 3 years, and I teach women how to access their emotion.
You've been a life coach for 3 years? I thought she just said she didn't have a break from raising her daughter for the past 3 years. But somehow she was able to be a life coach? So in other words, really, you didn't have a job and you made very, very little money for the past 3 years. And look, that's fine. That's fine because you were raising your child. You were focused on that. But let's not act like you're an actual life coach. She wants us to take seriously the idea that she is actually qualified to guide other women or people while crying on TikTok every week, barely keeping it together, and that's generous. And then also admitting she herself has been in counseling for years. If she is qualified to be a life coach, I'm qualified to be an NBA player.
This season, I've really unintentionally ran away from my pain because I'm a single mom now and there's so much to be done, and I just haven't even really had the time to process how I'm doing. So I woke up and I turned on worship music and I let myself cry because grieving is really, really important, and crying is really, really a healthy way to grieve anything in your life. And one thing I want to point out when I'm crying and grieving is that I picture that I'm not alone and I picture someone with me. It's actually really, really healing, no matter who you are, to picture someone with you while you're crying, because most of us believe we're alone. As uncomfortable as this video makes me, and I can make all the jokes about how I think I'm an ugly crier, this is my process, and it's super messy and it's up and down, and sometimes I still feel in shock that this is my life. But I never want to rush past this season of mine, and I want to fully embrace it for what it is.
That video makes her uncomfortable, but somehow it still got filmed and it still got posted. Because deep down, it's not really about wanting her to embrace the mess and whatnot. It's about being seen in the mess. She wants to be seen. She wants to be validated. She wants to be praised. And she wants female sympathy. If you thought she was the only former stay-at-home mom crying through her divorce on TikTok, then I've got a surprise for you. Watch this video here to see how quickly they drop the Independent Woman Act when the going gets tough.